Hello, 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 hello. How are we all doing? We got quite the agenda here today and a busy day. So, kind of want to get right into it. Let me know if you can hear me and see me, all that good stuff. But I might just go for it because I'm crazy. And I have, over time, gotten a little bit more uh, confidence in my set of my equipment. So, I think we should be good. But yeah, let me know if you can hear me and see me and all that. And I think I'm literally just going to jump into it here. So let's go ahead and do that. Um, Off to the races here. So, a couple quick announcements, some thoughts. We can have some conversations, some chats, and stuff like that. Just to give you a little bit of a background, I have been kind of working on a couple different things behind the scenes for the channel. I have content on the way. And actually, I'm going to go back here for a quick second because I've realized that I need to do way more video content, like actual standard video content, rather than just live streams. Live streams aren't going away. I'd love to see more of you guys here. You know, the faithful 10 to 20 people we always have here at live. I love it. I appreciate every single one of you guys. But I think we could do a lot more like interesting things. So hopefully we can continue to, I don't know, just increase the value that we're providing here. Richard, what's up? What's up? Wet and cold Scotland. Yeah, I think we're. It was a little. It's gonna be close to wet and cold here in Pittsburgh as well very soon. So appreciate you being here. But yeah. So I just like I said, just try to give you guys be as authentic as possible and be like trying to give you like some inside baseball whenever I can. There's a lot more video content like kind of on the way. I had to kind of like refactor a couple things and get my processes like in better order with some of that stuff. If there's anything specific you want to see, let me know. But there's more stuff on the way there. We're real excited about it. So, all right, let's go over here because another cool thing that we're working on, if you guys haven't had a chance to take a look at it already, is WP Town Hall with myself and Kevin Geary, the one and only. So, this has been great. We've had 3 episodes so far. I've really enjoyed it. Love getting perspectives from people that are not just like me and not just like the couple people that like all the different people that have been on different YouTube shows and other stuff like that, like the WP Town Hall. You can call in, you can literally join directly on X and become a part of this conversation. So we have one going on today in 2 hours. So might have to cut this live stream a little bit short, but over on X you can take a look at it. I will give you the link if you want to go check it out on X. Also have something else to say about that. This one specifically because we're going to try something new. But the first 3 episodes were about open source, and then WordPress's blogging identity, and then Gutenberg in general. Today is the barrier to entry of web design is too low. Now, if you're not familiar with that, we're not necessarily saying that's like 100% absolute statement. It's kind of like a resolution, and then we all talk about how much we agree with it, how much we disagree with it. Really cool format. I've really enjoyed it so far. And there's been a lot of really good conversations. So you can listen to the other episodes. It's an actual podcast. You can look it up on any platform. And what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be trying something today. It's going to be normally as normal on X and everything like that. But the thing that Kevin and I have realized is we've gotten decent listenership and everything like that, and we appreciate you guys literally running part of the show there. But the thing is, I think we're missing some stuff because not everybody is on X. And not everybody kind of sees it, and the X Spaces thing is kind of not the best. Like there's like it's just not optimal in a lot of ways. And then also, Kevin and I both have like audiences on YouTube. So what we're gonna try to do today, first time, so cut us some slack, is for this episode, you should be able to, if you're subscribed to like my channel or Kevin's channel or both of ours, you should be able to actually watch it live on there as well. And then we'll still have the podcast piece and everything like that after it airs. But if you want to interact, you're gonna have to go to X. But if you want to actually like watch, and I guess you could chat too on YouTube, then we're gonna be trying to like simulcast that from X. Don't know if all the audio visual stuff is gonna work, but we're gonna give it our best try there. So yeah, you can watch it on my channel, Kevin's channel, or directly on the space over on X. So There's the link to that. I don't have the actual thing scheduled yet on YouTube, but if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll see it when it pops up. So yeah, that's what we got going on there. Yeah, that's at 1 p.m. Eastern in about 2 hours. So excited for that. Okay, next thing that I kind of want to do is I've been slightly removed from the WordPress drama, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. I've thought about it, and I've kind of like, we'll go on X because that's kind of like the hub for all this sort of stuff. And I saw this WordPress engine tracker shit, and I'm just like, where are we up to now? 16,270. Like, this is. I want to talk about this actually kind of in two ways. The first way is like how kind of like quite petty this is, but um, I don't know. I try to be as like empathetic and see both sides of things as much as possible. And I don't know. I can't I understand it. Like I actually in one way I kind of like really appreciate the idea of like I don't know if you guys remember like the Wendy's like marketing strategy they had for a little bit where they were kind of like just being like funny and potentially roasting some other competitors. Like that's kind of funny in jest, but this is like just to a whole new level, and it's like actually like legally it's like legal adjacent, and it's literally legal now. It's just a weird situation that I don't really it's a weird situation. I don't know what the fuck else to say. But yeah, this is if we talk about it from the perspective of like, do I want my platform to actually be doing this type of shit and to be acting like this? And when I say my platform, I guess it's not my platform. It's Matt's platform. It's nobody else's. But the platform that I use, do I appreciate seeing like petty tweets and stuff or posts on X about like this from the WordPress official account? Not really. It's kind of cringy. This website is strange. I mean, I guess again I get the reason for it, but I probably wouldn't have done this. I do want to talk about this in a different light though, because like from a technical perspective, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, Nomad, what's up? Not on Twitter. Would have loved to come to defend Gutenberg as Kevin asked last town hall. Yeah. Um, I mean, take a look at it if you didn't listen to it already. Go take a look at it. And I mean, like I said, this time around, we're gonna try to do it on YouTube as well. So, feel free to chat in there. I suspect what's going to happen, I don't know this for certain, is if we have that working well, then we could also pull in, like perspectives and comments from the YouTube chat. And then maybe at some point we like expand from X. So there's a different way to kind of like call, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but I do realize that not everybody's on different platforms. Everybody has like different opinions of different platforms, what have you, whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, we're trying to get as many perspectives as possible because I don't go into those fucking things being like, oh, I have this mentality specifically, and I'm like, I personally, it's kind of like I want to hear other people's, perspectives on things because I don't have every single person's lived experience, in my Rolodex of, wisdom in my mind, right? So, I only have a top right off of what I've seen and heard and done. So, but yeah, if you guys can make it, 100%, we're trying to make it as accessible as possible too. That dork is insufferable. So it's a weird situation. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but like I said, I've been a little bit removed. The questions that I have, again, I'm on X a lot. I feel like that's kind of where a lot of it goes down, so to speak, at least like up to the minute stuff. And again, I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying to be like like a fence sitter, so to speak, with it. But I really do try to like analyze these things to like every like nth degree, because there's a part of me that's like, it's like extremely impressive, like the longevity of this trolling and this fight. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of it's not, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying like it's kind of impressive like how like we're now on like week fucking 10 or whatever it is, and we're making websites that say how many people have left. It's like kind of it's like really interesting. And again, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's that part of it is like just another observation that I had from a technical perspective. Let's leave let's get out of that for 1 second. The mindset of whether you agree with it or not. I don't know how they did this off the bat, just knowing, but like, let's just analyze this for a second, just because I'm kind of interested from the technical perspective. Maybe there's a use case that you have in your life that is similar to this, that is not for the same reasons. Okay, maybe we can take some stuff and learn from this for a second. This is like a dynamic piece of data. I don't know how they built it, but dynamic piece of data. I'm trying to think of it, and this is just like the number that is currently like people that have left or whatever. I have no idea how they're getting that data exactly, but that's the number of like the found a new home. This is a link out to the hosting page. Obviously, I thought this was just like really interesting. If you come over here and you say like wpengine.com and it says this is still hosted with WP Engine, and then if you just put in like anything else, it's like, you know, anything that's like obviously not that, this piece of this, regardless of if, again, regardless, disclaimer, regardless of if you agree with this or not, this search thing is actually kind of cool. I'm not sure what it's searching, how it's getting that data, but my point is I would love to build something like this, not for the same reason, but that would be kind of cool. And then you can literally download a CSV of all the people that have moved. I'm actually interested now. I got to download this. What does this look like? I know you can't see this. This is literally just like a huge, it's just a huge list of alphabetized URLs that apparently have, I don't even know what that means though. There's a lot on this list. How many lines is this? There's eight. I know you can't see this. There's 844,000 domains on this CSV file. So I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean like, I'm actually, you know what? I know we're getting a little deep here and this is like stupid. This is stupid bullshit ultimately, but like, what is that list of? Download a CSV of all sites ready for a new. Okay, so that's sites on. Is that like a dynamic number of sites that are on WP Engine? There's 844,000 sites on there, on that list. That's wild. That is wild. Curtis, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Peter, petty is a great word to use here. There's some pretty obnoxious people communicating for WP. Not a good look. Yeah, I'm not. I think I said this on the last stream. I mean, you could assume. I think the easiest assumption and the thing that makes the most sense is that Matt is the one that is putting these tweets out and maybe like made this site or, you know, directly, you know, directed somebody to make this type of thing. I don't know. I feel like that makes the most sense, but unless he starts signing every one of the WordPress tweets, I don't want to, or somebody asks him, you know what I mean? I don't want to like necessarily put him on blast for that, but yeah. Feud, yeah. This will help when I start my generational hater arc. Yeah, Grid Pain, what's up? Yeah, wild 100%. It's an interesting spot. It's an interesting thing. Again, from a two lenses to look at this from like an actual you know, reputation or just like public opinion perspective. Pretty shitty overall. Interesting, pretty shitty, quite petty, I feel like. Marketing wise, if it wasn't tied up in all of this stuff and like there wasn't as much context, I would think it's like, meh. You know what I mean? Maybe you could say, again, I use that Wendy's example. Maybe you could say like how many people like went to McDonald's instead of Wendy's or Wendy's instead of McDonald's. That would be kind of like a funny thing to do. This really isn't that funny. But from a technical perspective, again, as a total aside, that is kind of an interesting situation that we have going on here. Probably nothing super crazy, but could be useful if you're trying to see like a little bit of a you know, educational takeaway. Could be kind of interesting to play around with that for a different use case one day. And again, the list is just super interesting. Like 844,000. Is that like an actual? This is the type of shit that I get into. You know what I mean? Like I just look at that and I'm like, is that actually like the real, true, up-to-date list? If I download this CSV, when I refresh this and this thing, I think this is just in increments of 10. When this goes to like 80 and then I download this list, is that going to reflect? I don't know. Just I feel like that's kind of a nerdy thing that I think of. I don't know. The last thing I'll say about this, okay, just because I'm a hyper analyzer, is the last thing I'll say about this is whose fucking idea was this? You know what I mean? Like whose idea was it in the sense of if we could take away the idea of like, was this a good idea or not? I wish that I could have this level of ideas in like, I don't even want to know if I call this marketing. Like I don't think I would have thought of this. And I wish that I could like maybe over time I will think of more good ideas. Like when I say good, I mean like interesting ideas. Okay, again, we have to separate out like what people actually think versus what is kind of like novel in a way. I wouldn't just tell me right now if you would have thought of this idea. Maybe it's because you think it's a bad idea and you wouldn't have thought of it. But that's one other way that I look at this is like, would I have thought to do this if I was in that position? You know what I mean? It's like, did you see that this came up and you're like, oh, that like I had that idea, but I would have never done it? Or is it like like I just wouldn't have thought of that because I'm not this fucking creative. Like I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but I'm just telling you guys like I wish I had this level of like creative like weird ideas to do to fucking stir shit up. Not again, not in a bad way. It's just I don't know. I don't know. It's just I'm just thinking. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So Peter says WP community is now filled with unpleasant pitfalls, not so kumbaya as it was or wants to be. Yeah, it's a rough patch for sure. Technically, you can just go. Technically, you can just go and get the same kind of data from something like Built With, but they saved everyone $1,000 and a bunch of hassle. Yeah. It's particularly crazy because technology WP Engine is a part of the WordPress community, so other community members are on guard. Yeah. Yes, Mark, the facts matter. Facts do matter. Hi, Mark, arrived late. I've been distracted by the crazy American election. Do we have an alternative to Matt's WordPress yet? I don't believe so. I don't know. I haven't abandoned ship yet, and I haven't had a hell of a lot of time to look into other things. We did explore Framer a few weeks back. Might have an opportunity to look at some other stuff here soon, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting times here, and I didn't even there. I think there was another. There was this. Obviously, it's like the most recent thing. So hopefully, I think some people are making like a very good timeline of everything that's going on because there's just too much to like keep track of. But I know this is the most recent thing, this website. But the other thing that came out was like, what was it? Was it WP Engine's documents response to? I've lost complete track of what fucking set of documents we're on, but like it was like WP Engine's response to something else. I did not get a chance to look at that. Maybe we'll come up in our WordPress search here for X, but we'll see. I believe that's called selfness and jealousy. Yeah, I think that was probably in regards to kind of what we were. Maybe it was in regards to like thinking about this. I don't know. Okay, this might be controversial. I still think this idea is like a creative idea, but you can have creative ideas that are fucking bad, okay? Or like that people don't agree with. I'm just saying like I hope I'm communicating that right. I wouldn't have thought to do this, which is that to me is like, oh, that's interesting. Like I don't know. Built With says download a list of all 598,000 current WP Engine customers, so it's not from them. Interesting. Wow, interesting. Well, you would think, is there a way to know? I don't know. Maybe they have like a scraper, like their own scraper thing. I don't know. But you guys can download this yourself. It's literally just a CSV file. But then I did the whole select all, and it said like 800 and some thousand on that piece. So, well, if I were Mark, I would have. Are we saying Mark or Matt? If I were Mark, I think I would have done it something. Would have done it something similar, but never end the thing with WP Engine because at the end of the day, it's like leaving money on the table. Yeah. I think you meant Matt there. Yeah, I don't know. We still don't know the full story, I guess. There was one other funny thing. I'm not gonna be able to find the tweet, the zeet or the post right now, but there was one other funny thing that I saw shared. It was like GoDaddy, it's like WordPress, kind of like praising GoDaddy, which I mean, I have the public opinion of GoDaddy being kind of like rough to deal with, but from my experience, but like I've never had like extreme issues with them. But it was funny because like they praised them, but I wasn't really involved heavily when there was like a dispute a few years ago. I've just like heard the history of that, and now they're praising them. So my initial reaction was like, okay, well they had to have must have like paid up or something, which again, there's like so much nuance to that. I can't think of. I don't have every piece of it. We'd have to have a conversation with people smarter than me about like what that actually means as far as like I feel like there is some credence to like some sort of the licensing of like trademarks and stuff, right? Like people, you can't, you got to be careful with trademark type law, but there's just so much weirdness that's going around this too because of open source. GPL is kind of like tied in there, and there's like different reasons, for it. It's there's kind of like two different situations, and one is kind of being used against the other, or to kind of like enforce the other. So that I feel like that's like where a lot of the confusion comes. And honestly, it seems like the biggest thing that's come out of this is obviously there's Automattic versus WP Engine in general, but the thing that I'm still concerns me the most, or it's the most biggest question still, is every single time we have more conversations. The TechCrunch one, I feel like, was one of the most recent interviews, which I think that Connie did a fantastic job. If you guys haven't seen that, you should watch that. The TechCrunch Disrupt interview with Matt Mullenweg and Connie Loizos. But I think the big thing that's still out there, and probably like the most important question on a scale issue, is like who is in the crosshair, so to speak, or who does this actually affect more so than just WP Engine, like longer term. There's a lot of small outlets. There's a lot of small plugin developers that at what point do you become on the radar? Never heard that answered. Would love to hear that answered. I mean, I'll tell you personally, like I'm a small peon in this community bubble of all this stuff, and like I've tried to stray away from literally using the word WordPress, like you know, just because I have no fucking idea, and I don't think I would get sued. I don't think I would, but I don't care. Like I don't care about it enough. Like I'm gonna be candid with you. It's kind of turned me off heavily from like strictly like WordPress related things because just and if I'm one random person that has that opinion, you know what I mean? I can't imagine what other people that are actually building products specifically in this space are having. Um, you know, it's not a good situation. I get I'm empathetic to the reasoning in some senses, but just the way in which it's played out, I feel like has gotten quite out of hand and has done so much damage to the actual public opinion of the community has of the thing, and then probably externally as well. It's just a weird spot, and I'm not opinion. I wouldn't tell you to like jump and go anywhere. I don't think it makes sense to do that, probably based on where most people are with this. But I do think this. I think there's probably been a lot of people that have been here for a while, myself like kind of included, but there's been people that are longer, and they've probably gotten so comfortable because it's been so kind of like cushy in a way. I actually think that this is one way like a good wake up call. It's not good, but I'm saying it's a good wake up call in the totality of like life and professional career, to think that like you should not ever put all of your eggs into like one basket that you do not control. That's my personal opinion right now, kind of again assessing it all. And that's something that I personally am kind of grappling with as like a 28-year-old dude that has just kind of like gotten into the community piece at like a very interesting time. And I'm just thinking like, how can I make sure that I'm diversified, so if anything did happen that I don't control, you know what I mean, it's out of your control, you can't really worry about it, you just control the things that you can, and then you utilize the things that you can't control as long as possible. I don't know. That's how I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Isaac said everybody should check out Brandon's videos about alternatives. Brendan O'Connell, if that's who you're talking about, Isaac, 100%. Generic automatics page, gotcha. Some alternatives are these, like for ACFF and MetaBox custom fields, yeah. Matt, sorry, yeah, I gotcha. All good. Okay, they have their IP ranges and they can identify all the sites that live on the IP addresses. Big internet infra players have a lot of data about all their competitors. That is interesting. Wait, did they delete the long page published by AHC where they went into detail about WP Engine and what they're trying to do? I don't know. I don't know what that page was. Was that on... I guess it was on AHC. I don't know. I probably haven't seen that page. I don't know when that was published. Maybe we'll find it in our search over here. Let's see. So here's what I've done the last couple of times. I don't know if you guys are familiar with I hit the wrong button there. Here's what I've done the last couple times on these streams because I've used this as a little bit of a time to catch up with some shit. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I don't know, just trying to give you my raw thoughts on some of these things. I just kind of do like a WordPress search, and then, because I follow a lot of people on WordPress, and it's like what I engage with the most. So like if we just do like a little WordPress search here and we go down this, there's a couple interesting things kind of happen. I'll try to like obviously I'm just limiting to the big thing because if you did a WordPress search in the past, like before all this happened, you would get interesting WordPress things, but you wouldn't get a lot of stuff. So I don't know, just like Hashim here, he's been posting a lot of stuff that's very interesting for this. So like no individual on WordPress, yeah, we talked about this. Automatic, it's not owned by the traditional. Yeah, so like this is the type of shit. I'm blind reacting to this stuff, right? Okay, I've never seen most of this shit before, but like this is kind of an interesting one here. It's like ownership of WordPress.org. Like this is the thing. I got to go back here for a second. Okay, like this is the thing where I don't know if I'm probably not alone, or I'm probably not unique in this way, but I'm just telling you from my perception and perspective of this. Like as soon as I got in here a year and a half ago, I was like, there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying WordPress is like um, I'm not saying it's the only thing that doesn't make sense or has inconsistencies and stuff. But like right away, I was trying to understand. As soon as you dive into the community piece of it, I feel like there's like so quickly you're like if you're a logically minded inconsistency spotter, you just your bells and whistles just start going off. And like that's one of the things is a little bit of his Monday morning quarterbacking, but I'm not trying to say I like told anybody so or anything because I definitely didn't do that. I'm just trying to like think back and be like, what did I think then? What do I see now? What is like confirms those things? What is different than what I thought? And it's very interesting because like that is one of them where it's like, oh, like one person does own like WordPress.org. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, so much of this shit is just like people just want to know. You know what I mean? Like they need to know the information first and know the actual status of what it is, and then they'll react on it or whatever. But if but I feel like this is just like I'm trying to take all this as like general advice in business knowledge and just life knowledge to move forward so I don't make similar like mistakes or just make similar like moves that like I don't agree with, like, or that a lot of other people don't agree with, whatever. It's like if people just knew this information, if it was like more kind of in your face from the get-go, then I feel like people would have had, you know what I mean? Like, how do I put this? If you tell somebody that, I don't know what a great analogy is. If you tell somebody that you you're going to pay them, like if you hire somebody and tell them you're going to pay them like $20 an hour or whatever, right? And then you pay them $15 an hour, it's like, then there's a discrepancy there. If you tell somebody you're going to pay them $20 an hour and then you pay them $20 an hour and they're mad that you're paying them $20 an hour, it's like, dude, I told you that I was going to do that. Why are you mad? You know what I mean? So it's like, that's a terrible example, but I just feel like there's things that like weren't greatly communicated, kind of like not extremely upfront. People have the weirdest thing, maybe it's the scope and size of this, but like the weirdest thing is my entire last year and a half has been like asking a bunch of questions. And every time I ask questions to people that are like in the space for a long time, and this isn't a dig at those people, it's just an observation about the whole thing. It's like so many people are like in the space heavily, but because of the way it seems, the answers that I'm getting are still inconsistent from one to another. You know what I mean? And it's I'm not even trying to make a judgment on that. It's just kind of mind boggling. It's like I wish there was more transparency. Hopefully from this, if we could think of a silver lining, hopefully from this there will be more transparency moving forward, because I feel like that's again one of the only real ways that like things could move up and to the right, so to speak, after all of this clears. If we don't get more transparency, which is, again, to go back to my other thing. That's the big issue the big issue that I see right now from myself, but also more public opinion is like, listen, okay, you kind of didn't make this clear from the beginning. We're not happy about that. Okay. But now you're making a big deal about it. So you need to be like perfectly fucking succinct in the rules, right? If the rules weren't perfectly described before, and now it seems like the rules have changed because they weren't perfectly before, or they actually have changed. We have to make the rules crystal clear. And I haven't gotten that yet. I haven't consumed every piece of media, but I haven't felt that from the stuff that I've seen. So that, I don't know if all that made sense, but that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of that side of things and everything like that. Wasn't there something they published a few days ago? We can check. There might be something here. If you have a link, I mean, I could probably maybe on if you guys DM me on X or whatever, perhaps, I don't know. Or Facebook, there might be something that I could check out, or just tag me in it. I don't know. Let's go back over here. Okay. What do we got here? Automatic continuing gaslight WordPress community after blocking an individual who disagree with the question. Matt's unprofessional and childish behavior. I don't know where this screenshot is from, but that's another interesting thing, is because a lot of people have been blocked. I think I saw WP Toots was blocked this morning. You know, I don't think I'm blocked yet, but I also haven't been like outwardly on X too much. I feel like that's the big blocking zone. I'm really just trying to learn. The reason I don't want to get blocked is because I want to continue to like understand what the fuck is going on here. I mean, I'm trying to formulate like opinions, and I have some, but I also, I feel like it honestly is kind of, it's not scary, but it's I feel like a lot of people have been blocked, and they're just raising questions. I don't know. I haven't seen every single tweet that everybody has sent to get blocked. If you're being disrespectful, which I'm not saying people were, but I'm sure some people potentially were, or it could be. And this is, again, side note, why I fucking hate text-based conversations, because everybody always when you're in a high stress situation, whether you created or you're just in it or whatever, everyone always misconstrues the way that people like receive and send, text-based messages, because there's no actual inflection or no actual like human and piece of it. You know what I mean? There's no way that you're speaking or anything like that. There's no nuance to it. It's just text on a screen. Ryan Duff said something about anonymous GitHub accounts. Interesting. That's a CSV that we're talking about. Apparently, we're saying this person is anonymous. I don't know. I don't have the strength to fact check that specifically right now. Oh, this was an interesting thing. WP Engine's site was down, and then I know WordPress kind of like went at them for that. Just a couple more here. Oh yeah, this was the thing. Jonah said Hush goes down consistently because it's terrible and archaic and slow and held together by nothing but hope. String its constant pain access to login. WordPress.org goes down. Okay, so he's talking about WordPress.org, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really experienced that, but also don't go on WordPress.org that often. Let's just quickly go through here. Let's go to the source, just for funsies. Okay, so obviously they're on the thankful trail here. I guess maybe it's a Thanksgiving campaign or something. WP Beginner. So this is another. We got to talk about that for a second, because I'm actually kind of interested in that. Rohan, I don't think you can send links in this chat. If you want to message me on Facebook or maybe X as well. But I'll take a look at it. Blocking WP Toots, sure, that will make Matt's problem. Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big fan of the blocking thing. I think there's like a specific time and place to block people. Um, this is my own personal strategy, but if people are spamming or they're actual bots, like exhibiting bot-like behavior, I think that that's warranted. But you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful with like, you know, I'm actually, I'm okay. I'm gonna give an opinion here. I'm gonna give an opinion real quick. I'm sure this isn't a novel opinion, but like the one again, the inconsistency flag. It's like you can't really say that you want to like democratize like. There's nuance, but you can't really. I feel like there's an inconsistent between like democratizing publishing. Like you want everybody to be really what you're saying there is you want everybody to be able to publish on the internet, right? But then if you block people, it's like they can't see or interact with what you're doing. And I know that that's like a feature of like X in this case, but I just still feel like there's a little bit of an inconsistency there with like I interpret it as the first one is anti-censorship and then the second one is like pro-censorship. And I don't it doesn't really jive for me well. I will make some caveats though. Is one again spammers, botters, stuff like that. Like ones that completely just like we've had some of that in the past. Like that's you can't have that. But the other thing is like if you're being you can't like threaten people, you can't be disrespectful, you can't do any of that sort of stuff. I don't know if any of that took place, but I would but just in general, I think that's kind of my opinion there. You should there's a line there. But I honestly think the stuff that I saw, the people that I know that were involved in those conversations, a lot of them I feel like were probably just asking questions. You know what I mean? I will say one other thing that's coming to my mind is that there is also a difference between calling somebody out like in public and calling somebody out in private. If you actually want an answer to a question, you could try to go directly to somebody first. So for instance, I know a lot of like journalists will go directly, like give like let's say you're gonna write up a piece about something, then they'll go directly for a statement before they go public with it. I think that's actually like a pretty good strategy, um, because you give somebody a chance to defend themselves without like being put in a spot. That being said, though, I mean, I'm a big fucking non censorship guy, so it just like I don't have a problem with people like what people are doing as long as they're not like threatening or hurting or anything like that. So I don't know. It's a weird spot though. I don't know every single tweet that led to blocking, but I would imagine that not all of them were block warranted because it sounds like there's been a fuck ton of people that have been blocked. Um, I feel a big missing piece for newer people understanding now is that a large part of the WordPress community has been actively fighting against Matt since almost day one. Yeah, I wasn't here for that. And I've heard pieces of that in a sense. But it, I don't know. Um, I don't know the specifics. I've just heard, like I said, from other bits and pieces of it. Um, but definitely. Sorry, I was pulling up the automatic article there that Rohan sent. Thank you, sir. Where are we at here? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that there's been other battles, you know, and Matt literally said in that TechCrunch thing, he's like, oh, you know, we don't. It's not like it happens every day. You know, it's every like 5 or 7 years. I'm like, you know, that's good, but it's like at the same time, it's like I don't know. I just, you know, honestly, I gotta be in. I think that from what I've seen is that the biggest piece of this community that has been like the most impactful, it's literally fucking open source software. You would think that like the community aspect of it would be kind of obviously the precipice of like the big of like the most valuable thing. And I just think that if you look at this objectively, that is the part that is getting damaged the most here. And I guess the analysis that's going on is that the damage to the community does not outweigh the money and the precedent that would be set if, you know, it went through according to Matt and Automatic. And I'm not sure if any of us can give like a specific, like a yes or a no to if that actually would reign true. But I mean, I totally get the idea of like, you know, it's kind of it's literally kind of like like if you played it out like to the end, it's like, do you think all of the people that would be like completely jaded and like Do you think something like this could crush the community enough to make all that other stuff not even matter? You know what I mean? And I will say that I think that probably WordPress being at the scale that it's at is the only reason you could try to pull a stunt like this. Because with anything smaller, it's like your community is just going to get destroyed so quickly that even if you do get on the other side of this, that like it might not matter. You know, I don't know. I'm interested to see how like I haven't seen. I still I don't know where that last thing is about WP Engine. I don't know if I'm gonna find that documents or whatever, but like I'm interested to see like how kind of like actually how they're reacting to this. If they're thinking about in the back channels like, oh, we should really get off this platform or something like, or like we should do other things. I've actually been getting some WP Engine emails about like Drupal or something, but it's not like I don't know if it's I don't know if they're like actually trying to go deeper into that or what the case is. But all I know, I don't really read them because I'm not like interested in Drupal right now. But that was another interesting random thing that I just thought of. The active fighting against the block editor is a good micro of that macro. Yeah. I mean, that's obviously a deep topic. I don't know. There was nobody like I wasn't fully here at that time. I kind of like came in right as that was happening, but people don't like change, and people that are on things seem to like always really think that if they're using something every day, they think it's probably pretty good, unless like there's obviously like glaring issues. So that was probably a huge change for people. Um, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm gonna tell you what, honestly, between this and like the political climate in the United States, I'm just like so jaded because I don't want to pick sides. I kind of don't think there's one right side on anything. It's just all nuance to me, and I'm just like so disillusioned by a lot of it. It's like I'm happy to talk about it because I do love it, and there's so much to learn. It's just like there's no fucking way that one side like there's people in this argument that are like I kind of understand some of what Matt's doing, kind of understand what some of what WP Engine's doing. It's like how are you supposed you like I don't know if we're meant to like pick sides. Sorry to get so deep, but that's what I do. Who's Brandon? Yeah, I was asking the same question. I think we're talking about Brendan. I think. I got that article there. Thank you, Rohan. Let's take a look at her. Let me pull it up. Defending open source. You know what I did? I did see this. I didn't read it. Defending open source, protecting the future of WordPress free toolkit. Da 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 da. Actually, I'll drop this in because I can drop it in for you guys. Here you go. We're skimming. You know what I should do? I should do a little AI overview of this. I've heard this story. Obviously, they entered it. I feel like the disrupt thing is probably a little bit of a similar piece to this. Is this the whole thing? What? All right, let's just look at it. WordPress free toolkit. Anyone who uses it, build and customize a website. It powers over 40% of the web. I love that stat. I gotta stop saying that. Giving freedom, ease, and flexibility in how websites are created. Core code, plugins, and themes, and developed by a vibrant community is shared freely. GPL licenses the ethos of open contribution has helped WordPress grow. In the WordPress, okay, we're just fluffing. What are we doing here? Where do we get to the? This has been the way. Okay, in 2018, 100 billion private equity, Silver Lake entered the WordPress ecosystem. It made. Okay, wait. So WP Engine was around before this, right? And then in 2018, they entered with the 250 million investment in WP Engine, placed 3 officers on the 4-person board. Over the next few years, WP Engine acquired hosts, plugins, themes, consolidated power, and okay. Damaging ethos, automatic CEO and WordPress co-founder tried to reason with Silver Lake and or at least respect WordPress trademarks. WP Engine grew. See, obviously, this is very. You read this and you're like, okay, this kind of. I feel like I kind of agree with this. Revenue grew from 100 million to 400 million, yet their use of trademarks went beyond fair use, including multiple products. Any business making hundreds of millions of dollars off of an open source project ought to give back, and if they don't, they shouldn't. What? Okay, I gotta read this quote. Any business making hundreds of millions of dollars off an open source products ought to give back, and if they don't, they shouldn't misuse the trademark. You know, this is the part here that like this. I think this is a really good quote to highlight because this is the part where like some people are just gonna like just automatically say yes to this. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is how I'm reading this quote right here. Okay. Any business making hundreds of millions of dollars off an open source project ought to give back, and if they don't, they shouldn't misuse the trademarks. Like I hear what that is saying. I hear what that is saying. Any person that reads that is probably gonna be like, okay, that makes sense. And then you dig into it for like, you give it like half of a more second of like critical thought, and you're like, okay, let's analyze this. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars. That's a cool thing to add in there, but that doesn't fucking mean anything, because I don't think the amount of money you make off of open source, I don't think there's any sort of like obligation based on how much money you're making. Maybe you could throw that in there. I don't think that's in there. Is that can you make that? Can you say that in open source land? I mean, maybe you can. I haven't heard it. That's like legal. That's not a legal thing. And if they don't, then they shouldn't misuse the trademarks. I agree that you shouldn't misuse trademarks. Like that's trademark law is probably not something to fuck with. Um, but the way in which it was just such a weird situation. It's like, this is our issue. This is our issue. We're going to try to get you to do this. And then you didn't want to do this. And we have no legal ground to give you to make you do this. So we're going to go over here now because you are doing this. This is illegal, so to speak, and we're going to get you for this. But I'm still trying to like get into I'm still trying to like understand where this ends, or like if I could predict any of this. Like, how do you go from wait a minute, what is the I'm not a lawyer. Don't fucking take any advice from me. I'm just reading shit and just commenting. What if you let's play a different game. If I was a random person and I was like saying that I was selling McDonald's cups or some shit, and I was like saying McDonald's. Please don't sue me, McDonald's. This is just an example. If I was doing that, then what is the penalty for doing that? Do I have to like give money? I probably have to give money back for probably all of the stuff that I used that for, potentially. Or is it just a cease and desist to stop using that specific trademark in a way that's misuse? That's the part where like then this 8% number gets thrown in here per year or whatever, and it's like, where the fuck did that come from? So I don't know. I don't know. And then I've said this before, and other people have said this, and people have got mad. But like, this is just like a huge precedent piece, because there's definitely a lot of people that are saying this, and this is again the reason why I don't want to say the word anymore, or I don't want to use the word like in my stuff. Like I literally changed it on my website and shit, because like I'm nobody, and if I start making any amount of money, I don't want to like, I don't know, just a weird spot. I don't know. Okay, a lot of comments here. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully you appreciated that rant there with all that stuff. All right, let me take a look here, guys. Let me take a look. Nomad said, I don't think that approach is helpful. 20 years of not liking what he's doing, but instead of contributing, they keep using WordPress and crapping on Matt and Core. What do I think about that? Yeah, I mean, you should probably not stick around, I guess, if you don't like something. But at the same time, like the only thing I would slightly push back on here a little bit is that I think a lot of times the crapping on Matt and Core, it can tend to go too far. But I genuinely think that a lot of times people are meaning well. But then we get into the conversation of, well, why don't you just contribute? And then we go down a further rabbit hole of like how difficult it is to contribute and how annoying it is. And honestly, how a little bit of like there is a little bit of weird, like kind of like gatekeeping, or at least like hoops to jump through there that we've talked about now ad nauseum for the last like 3 months, right? So there's a little bit, it's not, that is, I'm not disagreeing, but it's definitely not black and white. I hope we can agree it's not black and white. But it would require a bigger conversation. Woke shit. I don't know if this classifies as that. Perhaps I'd have to get more specific opinions on that. Democratizing publishing but not commenting. It just seems a little inconsistent to me. D123, appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you, thank you. WP Toots to Nick, I don't know what you mean there. Yeah, democracy. I think what we're talking about there, if we're talking about the same thing, was just like, yeah, like everybody can publish, but then yeah, if you get, kind of like, I don't know, blocking. I mean, I already talked about that. I don't know what the level of I don't know what the threshold is to get blocked. We're gonna need like everybody to like have a survey on what you said before. What was the last thing you said before you got blocked? If they're making a public statement that is creating a narrative, I think calling them out in reply is a fair game. Yeah. I think this back at the journalism part I was talking about. I think the point I was making there is like, yeah, if you do something shitty, if somebody does something you think it's shitty, you can definitely reply to them. But I think always it's like, you don't have to do this. I'm just saying, like, I know literally journalists on like YouTube, like CoffeeZilla or whatever. Like, I've seen them like, oh, I don't fucking like what somebody did, or they ripped somebody off. Let me go to them first with a bunch of my questions, give them an opportunity to defend themselves, and then when they don't, then I will just like say what I'm going to say, so to speak. That's all I mean. But you obviously can reply. It's an open platform. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. WordPress official account. Yeah. I saw that on. I saw that WP Tuts. Man, sparing nobody here. Michael, ultimately, this is an issue between AHC and WP Engine that's going to be resolved in court. We can complain, but no one is going to listen. Yeah. I mean, we can complain, but nobody's going to listen. I mean, we obviously don't really have like a legal situation, like a legal, I guess, effect on it. But I mean, the only thing I'd push back slightly on that there, Michael, is that WordPress, we talked about the open source thing not being a democracy and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, there is one thing that kind of like hangs in the balance, so to speak, of this. It's not a democracy, but if you have enough people that like don't want to use a thing because of XYZ or whatever, and like it's like kind of like I'm another random example. Like if Apple made such a bad move that like they lost like a huge percentage of their customers and they couldn't sustain what they had going on, then that is a bad business move. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people listen or not, or if it's legal or not. It's like, it's just a bad business move. And I feel like we're kind of slightly toying with that, just the way that WordPress is, and like the huge amount of like people that are reacting in a way that is just like again, you watch that TechCrunch thing, and Connie Loizos is literally standing. It's like, a lot of people are showing a lot of animosity towards what you're doing, like a lot of like backlash and stuff. And it's just, I don't know. I guess we need better data on like what the actual public opinion is rather than just X. I don't know. From Charlie here, Matt wrote a post complaining about losing his own freedom of speech and then blocked people, including me, for pointing out that he had blocked people on WP Slack. I think I saw a piece of that. Yeah, the freedom of speech thing. I would need the context on that, but I don't know. Can't type around my microphone. God damn it. My freedom of speech. Hang on. I know you can't see it. But they First Amendment. What? I'm not sure what he's talking about here. Where did he lose his freedom of speech? They say it's about community sense, but if you're not core, they're trying to ask judge. I gotta be honest. I don't actually. I'm not reading this 100%, but I'm not even understanding what we're talking about here. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm not even gonna dig into that. At face value, that doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense. You're not losing your freedom of speech. You should probably just like not talk when you're in a legal battle. I'm not even saying I'm a lawyer, and that's just like the general thing, right? That people say. It's like, hey, anything you can and say will be held against in a court of law type shit. But you could say whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. It's not like it's being taken away, right? I don't know. Also, public criticism of an organization or any company is totally fair game. That's not personal at all. I don't disagree with that. I think that this situation in particular, now that we've seen, like, again, as I was talking about before, it's so smoke and mirror almost, smoke and mirror intentionally or unintentionally. It's like there's a lot of like opaqueness to it. Um, the situation is that because of that line where like Matt basically owns WordPress.org, trying to be empathetic where I can be empathetic. I understand him taking it personally. Do I think he should take it personally? No, but I understand him taking it personally. So that's where like I feel like the toe of the line there becomes where it's like, okay, you're criticizing company, but that company's leader and the owner of it literally feels like it's his life work. So it kind of, you go down that track and you're like, okay, like I get that. That's probably a non-answer, but I agree with what you're saying. I just don't think that, I don't think the people see it. I don't think the people that are hearing it see it like that. And a lot of these issues come up, I feel like, when it's like misinterpretation and text-based shit and like, I don't know, this thought process there. I don't know, could be wrong. WP Toots, the ironic thing is a number of people that have gone on record to say that what is happening isn't going to affect the normal WordPress user. Let me read that again. A number of people have said, oh yeah, okay. So I can't. I mean, there's people that use WP Engine that have already been affected. So yeah, that part there, I can't agree with that at all. I'm not sure who's saying that. I could assume it's probably like people that are like leaning heavily onto automatic, like is right at all, at everything and all of it. I don't know how, it doesn't even seem like a factual statement, honestly. Like there's definitely been like users that have been already plagued by WP Engine not getting access to the repo and shit like that. So that's just not a factual statement. I agree with you there, WP Tuts. It's tough. David, what's up, brother? Good to see you here. Good to see you. Nick says, smart move by WP, not like you could have influence on people. Yeah, they need to be careful. They're blocking a lot of people. It's tough. Yep, exactly. Echoed my point there, Paul. Appreciate that. I guess I echoed yours because this chat was before I said that, but I didn't see it. Let's see what else we got here. Just looking through some of these here. David, what's up? My brain still tunes off the moment I hear about this debate. I know I should listen, but I don't disagree with you, David. I wouldn't take it personally at all if you didn't continue to listen to this stream. I do have some other things I'd like to talk about, but this topic, like I said, I've tried to keep this as like a little bit of a way to keep myself out of it and then come into it on Thursdays and do a little bit of this just so I can kind of catch up, so to speak, and get your guys' thoughts and kind of get my like straight up like initial thoughts of as I see the things, because it's still evolving. And the unfortunate part, I think for partially a lot of us, is that in that interview, in that TechCrunch thing, and then you should watch if you don't want to watch that, that's like 30 minutes, but there's also a video that and I can link it, that Matt Medeiros and Brian Cords did, kind of like a recap of it, which is really good because they have like a lot of good experience and points to talk about there. They go through that interview and they talk about like their opinions on everything. And again, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. These guys are seasoned, okay, much more seasoned than I am, and they're learning things in a 30-minute interview that Matt Mullenweg has with TechCrunch. You know what I mean? Like today about this stuff. It's like that is the level that we're at here, where the scale is so massive, the apparatus is so like opaque and tough to understand, but you have a lot of critical thinkers like in this community that like want to understand. They want to understand like any sort of inherent risks. They want to understand what the rules are. And it's a weird spot. And we're like in this transitionary period where I feel like we're trying to set, really Matt is trying to set like precedents with things. And it's a strange spot to be in. I was going to say the unfortunate piece is that in that interview, he literally said that if this goes full legal, like it could be like 2025, I think he said 2026 before it's all wrapped up. Could you imagine how many more crazy ideas, how many more crazy website landing pages are we going to see before then, with how many customers they've lost, how how much money have they lost? It's like, I'm unbelievable. I don't, I think he literally, yeah, it keeps going the customer thing. I don't know. Where are we at here? Appreciate all the engagement, guys. Love these thoughts. Thank you so much. Let's be honest, MMN automatically currently snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Well, I will see we'll see what's going to happen here. I don't know if it's just I guess it's the play as it ends justify the means type of thing. I don't know. Do, 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 do. WP Trust, is that the same trademark laws that were not in question when Automatic was an investor in WP, or were they ousted as an investor as Silver Lake by Silver Lake? Yeah, I don't. I, there's just too many inconsistencies. I 100% agree with what you're talking about there. I don't. I wish these questions. Those are the important questions. You know what I mean? That need to get answered. I do want to say that like there is a difference too, like going back to it, between like the rules and the rules changing. Like if the rules change, if you have like a leader or a situation where the rules change a lot, that's not like a stable situation. Maybe you don't want to be there, but at least if the rules change and they're communicated, that's whatever. Maybe we're in that situation. It doesn't really feel like it. It feels like we're saying that rules were one way when they actually weren't. That's an issue, and that causes a lot of like mind fuckery, I feel like, to a lot of the people that are in it. But if the rules change and they're communicated, I tend to have less of a problem with that. But I don't really see that happening. I feel like it's more of like a retroactive kind of callback to things when we are like pretending that there were kind of rules in place and there's not really. It's so I would agree with what we're talking about there. I feel like we would love some clarity on that. Michael says the problem with trademarks is that the owner of the trademark gets to decide how and if they want to enforce it. Obviously, court still decides. That's the other thing too, is that's another good point, is like if we haven't decided, like if we've gone so long without enforcing it in a specific way, when I say we, I mean they, if Automatic has gone that so long, it's like does that even end up holding, in a sense? Like, can you still, it feels a little retroactive, and can you do that? Excuse me, can you do that? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. What does we say it the way you wouldn't expect a company already making tons of money on WP to start adopting nefarious marketing practices. You wouldn't expect a company already making tons of money on WP to start. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're talking about WP there. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Have they done that? I'm just slightly confused by that comment there. DK, help me out there. Oh, against WP. Yeah, I see the next one. You wouldn't expect a company making tons of money on WP to start adopting questionable on nefarious marketing practices that rub WP the wrong way. Yeah, it's a weird situation. I don't think WP was really doing anything. It doesn't seem like they were, honestly. One way I think to think about it is they probably weren't doing anything like malicious intentionally per se. It was probably just like, again, kind of how Matt has described it, is like they're trying to make as much money as possible, which, we're in this weird spot where like, they're a business and like they are private equity, and there is problems that come from that. Nothing is perfect, but at the same time, it's like they're trying to make as much money as possible. They probably are. You would think that a private equity firm and a company of the size of WP Engine would be like have the knowledge of like trademark law, right? So where I'm going with this is that you would think that they would have dealt with this in some other way. The private equity firm with other companies, WP Engine with other things over the course of their, right? So it's not like, I don't think they would probably be actively trying to fuck with the WordPress trademark. They're probably just using it to the amount of extent that they feel like they can. And I feel like, honestly, with trademark law, it's probably, this is total fucking opinion speculation, okay? But I feel like because of the way that I've heard it explained, it's kind of like, do as much as you can, use it as much as you can until somebody says some bullshit, like until somebody says you can't, and then pull back. And I feel like that's kind of what we've seen. They've started to use it less. Did they change that WordPress core plan or whatever? I'm not saying I would have made a plan called WordPress core. I don't think that's like a smart thing to do just in general, because I don't want my shit to be confused with other people's stuff. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's one way to think about kind of the that whole situation. And I can't see them like actively doing it, but I also don't know what they were thinking. So Matt built $1 billion business on GPL product with contributions, etc. And now he wants to obfuscate the principles of open source using his trademark. I don't disagree with that. The only thing I would say there is I don't know enough about how other comparable softwares do it with the trademark side of things. Maybe there is no trademark. I don't know. On like other projects that are open source. But also, I think the problem that we have here, the very unique problem with WordPress is the scale at which we are, you know, you know what I mean? So if we're at this scale, then I feel like it might just be different. And the stuff that I just brought up might not even matter. You know what I mean? Like using on different like comparing, there might not be a better comparison, there might not be a good comparison to compare to if this scale is so drastic that it doesn't even, there's nothing good to compare to. Lal here, I believe that Automatic has a valid moral argument in the situation. However, the big mistake was Matt putting his name on it, like the actual thing, like Matt owning it. In my opinion, they would have had a stronger case in public relations if the WordPress trademark was associated with this without any mention of Matt. I do think that, like we said earlier, there's a little bit of like tough. There's a tough piece in here because like it gets so commingled almost so quickly, because especially now that like it's kind of like it wasn't said before, and now it is said like Matt's the sole owner of this, and the entity and the different pieces or whatever. So the commingling is tough, like from the perception of it. It's hard to break apart like what is. I mean, we're getting tweets from like WordPress, like we were talking about earlier. So yeah, from all the public perception piece, yes, and then to that point there that you made, Halal. I think if it was just like more of a corporate versus corporate thing, it would have probably went over better. But I feel like that's also like everybody's critique of the whole situation. Even if your full AHC can do no wrong, I feel like the thing that you would say is like there's probably a better way to go about this, rather than ground zeroing it at a WordCamp US. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've described much of Matt Mullenweg's communication as disingenuous. For example, he states he can be outvoted by the WP three-person board. It's never happened. Yeah, that rubs me the wrong way a little bit too. Yeah, I don't think that board is probably. I would like to give the board the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know who those other two people are, and I don't know if they're even involved. They could be literally sitting anywhere doing anything else for any like they might be in like different industries. They might not even really care about WordPress. They're probably just like they could be just on the board or whatever, and they might have nothing for anything. I'm sure they weren't like, I guess I don't know, but I would assume they're not like publicly elected in any sort of way or anything like that. Um, were they just friends? Basically at the time of when everything was kind of started up. What's the case there? Really, it's like, could they just be two people that are just going to say yes to Matt? Like I feel like that's extremely possible, especially if they've never been, and if a vote has never been, cast in a different way through that 3-man team. Nick gotta go. Need to explain overconfident client how to use WP backend for a site with complex pages. Yeah, good luck with that, Nick. Appreciate you being here. That's always fun. I need to make more content on that because I'm running into that a little bit too. Clients are fun. They mean well, but they're fun. We got Michael here. The board of WP Foundation are probably on very good terms with Matt and Automatic. Obviously, wouldn't pick people would throw him out. Yeah, it's technically checks and balances, but by design, but not supposed to work. Yeah, I feel that. Did not go through the proposal system yet, Tutor. We can do that. Probably should do that because I got to get off here pretty soon to go to the town hall. I was just thinking about making a proposal contract system with WS Form PDF add-on. Ooh, I did think of the PDF thing, but I didn't explore PDF add-on yet. That would be a good idea. That mad fucker gets me every time. Yeah. What nefarious PR tactics? Surely that's just spouting nonsense with no actual facts to back up a statement. Are we talking about WP Engine there? I've lost track of the chat. Yeah, I don't know the PR stuff, the nefarious PR stuff. I mean, would we classify what we looked at earlier, the WP Engine thing, as nefarious PR? I don't know. Um, don't know. Davidas, if I didn't butcher your name there, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Let's take a look here. But the Loyals will put a clamp on Matt shenanigans. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he did say that he was going to be quiet, and then he wasn't quiet. So I don't know. Um, naming one of your products core. Come on, yeah. I don't think that was just a good business decision in general, personally. Joe, what's up? What's up? Pretty new to WordPress. Has stuff like this happened before, like the intensity, like WP Engine? You're gonna have to ask people that have been here a little bit longer than me, Joe. But I can tell you what I've heard, and there has been. I mean, specifically even from Matt Mullenweg, there's been like things like every like 5 to 7 years, so to speak. There was another really big one with Chris Pearson. He made some good videos, kind of like as this all happened, about like explaining what happened to him back in I don't know what year it was, early 2000s. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure. It was like theme related. Obviously, he had like a theme, and there was like some licensing stuff there. So I would say like maybe look into that if you're interested in like other situations that have happened. But to my recollection, everything else that I've seen, this has been one of the bigger ones. It feels like they're maybe like increasing in intensity. They're not happening super often, but the intensity is increasing. I will also put a caveat there too, is like obviously the scale is increasing of the platform. It has been. We've talked about it recently where maybe it's kind of like tapered a little bit, but it's something to be wary of, but at this point I wouldn't say like it's you should absolutely jump ship. I'm still building WordPress websites. I still think that WordPress is the best like platform, though this is like kind of like concerning. I will also say that I create content on this, obviously, so it's like I kind of have to talk about it in a way. Um, but if you're just building websites, there's still like many people that are just building websites. You know what? One thing that just real quick that this has brought to me though, I know some industry people in the web industry. I don't people in the web obviously know a ton, but I know some people that are like outside the content realm, and this might be really something really interesting for us to all to do, content creators or the like, is to see if agency owners, people that build WordPress websites, give a shit about this and what their thought is. If we were just saying like, you go up to a random person that's not like making content or not consuming a lot of content and like say, have you heard about this? Do you care about this? What are your thoughts? If we start seeing large agencies be concerned about it, that would be a red flag for me. Maybe it's already happening, but I don't know. Let's see what we got here. W. Paul was talking about from the marketing that MM has been saying they've been doing since the issue arose. Oh, I thought you were. Oh, I see what we're talking. Okay, okay. He has made that statement. Matt Mullenweg has made that statement where he's like, they're like attacking him. My perspective, I have not looked at every single thing that WP Engine has said, but the thing is different, obviously, is that Matt Mullenweg is WordPress, so to speak. Like it's kind of like almost like that one-to-one like we talked about. So he's been saying stuff like on his personal, we'll just use to X, like his personal blog, his personal X profile, and WordPress's profiles. But WP Engine really hasn't said much. I haven't even seen much from people that work for WP Engine. So it's kind of like WP Engine is acting like a full corporation that doesn't really have an opinion. So in one way, I kind of actually like I don't know what the right word is. I kind of appreciate that Matt is a little bit of a more of a human in a way than like the WP Engine like full corporation is basically. I'm assuming here they were probably like, do not say shit about this situation because we are battling it legally. So I do appreciate that realm as well. But what I'm saying is it kind of seems like any sort of attacks that I've seen from WP Engine towards like Automattic or Matt Mullenweg have kind of seemed more like they've came in the realm or in the form of legal, legal. Like it's not like they're like going down to X and like screaming at him and say, like maybe there's been a couple things here and there where they've said like WordPress. I don't know if they said Matt Mullenweg, but they said like WordPress has turned off of our stuff or whatever. Maybe there's been a couple little things, but it hasn't been, to me, it hasn't been like overtly like tax, so to speak. It's kind of what I'm saying. The big companies, there's a lot of quid pro quos, just like super admin sponsorship for work camps being limited to certain companies with that kind of, yeah. Yeah, it gets muddy real fast for sure. There's no cross promotion. Matt is still shilling Bluehost like God's gift to man. Well, I could only imagine that there's like money involved there, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, the, if somebody is paying you to promote their stuff, I'm not saying that's happening there, but if somebody's paying you as a partner to promote their stuff, like that, there is an aspect of that that is just business. Now, I would like to think that most people are ethical and they're not like shilling bullshit, but that does happen. I'm also not saying that like they're shilling bullshit by using Bluehost. I've never used it. I've heard so things about it, but I'm saying that like there is an aspect to like partnerships that is real. Like if you want to partner in business and people pay you to like promote things or pay you to do that type of thing, there's a little bit there. Um, but yeah, at the same time, it's like, you know, effectively like the leverage here. I feel like, Matt feels like he has obviously all the leverage, and WP Engine has to play ball or they're fucked. Which, as again, I know we're talking about both sides a lot here, but again, though, one thing I'm trying to think larger scale on a business thing. WP Engine own like I know they do other things. I think they host. I guess they host Drupal or they do now, or they've always has like from their perspective too. I bet you they're thinking, "Fuck, we should have like diversified a little bit just in case this ever like kind of happened." Because that's one of those things where it's like if you go that far where it's with something you don't control and you rely on that, it does put you in a risky business position. You know what I mean? Like you gotta. I feel like you should probably mitigate some of that, and maybe they are now. I don't know. No, we didn't miss a sneak peek. Yeah, hang on, hang on. We've been talking about this for a while. I'm gonna switch that right now. Someone creates a sustainable alternative to WordPress that works with plugins and themes. I will switch immediately. My trust in of WordPress, Matt, is done. We'll see what happens. Enjoy the rest of the stream. I'm off to cry in my car. Paul, I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much. Let's see. I agree with that. Partnership should be disclosed 100%. Yeah, 100%. 100%. 100% you should disclose it. You should talk about it. You should be open about it. Okay, let's speed run. What do you guys say? Okay, so I'm gonna be completely open and transparent here. I wanted to do this. I could probably still do it. I could probably still do this. Oh, is this gonna work? Fuck yeah, dude. Work. Reload. Look at that, guys. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna try to show you two things in the next like less than 30 minutes. First thing is this is my website. So I have this live YouTube integration thing. I have a video that is still yet to come out. I need to edit it. But it is me creating this plugin with Claude to show when I'm live or not, okay? And it adds like dynamic bricks conditions and custom dynamic bricks conditions and tags. And then you have these things in here, you can load them up. I think I've talked about this maybe a little bit on the last two streams, but this is now actually on my website. And real quick, maybe we could actually just add something. This is probably a stupid thing to do, but I'm not the brightest bulb all the time. If I go to my header, I have like a concept here in mind that I could just try to do real quick. So like this is my website here. If I go to my header and is there like a good frame that I could just pop in here real quick? Is there like a banner? Yeah, whatever. I might change this, but I just want to give you guys a vibe on this. So like if you go CTA alpha banner here or whatever, I guess you can even X out of this one, but this is just a frame, okay? And then you could say up here, I could say something like I'm live. God damn it, I cannot type around this thing. I'm live right now on YouTube. And then come over to this call to action and oops, oh Jesus. Okay, and then say watch now. I don't know. I'm gonna put that in all. Okay, I know I shouldn't do it like this, but I'm gonna do it like this real quick, just like watch now or something. Okay, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. There should be like a little arrow or something like that, but I want to show you guys in real time, like me trying to do this shit. So if I go, that should be good. So I'm gonna press save, and then this is gonna fuck up my website. You're gonna see it happen in real time, okay? And then I'm gonna come back up to the CTA banner, and I'm gonna go to conditions. I'm gonna go to add condition. I'm gonna come down here. My new custom thing down here is my YouTube live channel status. Only show this when the channel is live. And so what that does, I'll go into the whole video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see that video. But basically, just know that it's checking the YouTube API, and this is only going to show up when I'm live. Okay. And then over here on this watch now button here, I'm going to put not a condition. I'm going to put, let me go back to what the fuck's going on here. Go back to conditions, delete that. And then I'm going to go to right here, watch now. I'm going to say link type. I'm going to say dynamic data. And then for dynamic data, I'm going to come down to YouTube Live and the YouTube Live URL. I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to say update. And then if I come back out here, this will be gone when my live is gone. But right now I'm live on YouTube just as a little banner. It looks like shit. Okay, I get it. But then I'm going to click watch now. And now I go to this live thing, and I'm not going to play that because it's going to be Inception-y and weird. But my point is that I just did that in 2 seconds just to show you guys. But this banner will go away when I'm not live. It will do it all dynamically via YouTube. And next time I'm live, it will automatically come back up when I'm live. At least that's the hope. I'm pretty sure it does work like that. There may be a couple bugs in there. But the point is that that plugin was created with Claude. And I think I have the GitHub somewhere. I'll drop the... let me put this repo in the chat just in case you guys want to play around with it. Big disclaimer, read the README. Do not put that on your site and blame me if something bad happens, okay? But you get the idea, okay? So if you go to my site right now, you should see that. If you don't, then there's a problem. But, and I guess you can get rid of it. Maybe that doesn't work. I don't know. That's the first time I'm using that frame. But I wanted to do that just to kind of give you guys the idea because now it's finally over there. Let's talk about the proposal thing. What do you guys think? So I have this situation here where, look at that. Let me go through the chat real quick. Just says, and it almost seems cyclical and gives Matt the confidence he can do it again and succeed, maybe a false sense of security. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this one turns out. Max, appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so proposal time. So I had this situation, and I think that I can make like a better video on it. Like a more full featured with like some thoughts actually behind it. But here's the concept, okay? I have a situation where I need to create like proposals, actually more specifically for like sponsorship stuff now, like related to content, but you could just do this the same way with like building websites. And I, real quick backstory, when I started building websites, there's a couple things that sparked this for me. When I started building websites and started like having a process for proposals and stuff, I started with just like Google Docs. So I would write up a Google Doc, and then, you know, maybe the first thing was I like sent it to somebody, and then they'd have to sign off on it or whatever and send it back. That was stupid. Then I got DocuSign, so I had like the PDF and I had the sign thing in there, and I'd send them that and they'd send me that back. DocuSign's good, but it's annoying because you're still creating it somewhere else and then putting it in there and sending it or whatever. Then I switched to, most recently, I skipped a step in there. There was a really good way. If you use Google Docs, look up doc variables, because there's like a good way to kind of like do some stuff there. And the other thing with Google Docs is I literally just saw now that they have integrated signing natively into it. So possibly look into that. I'm not trying to get you guys to spend more money. I'm actually going to get to a point here in this story where you spend less money. But to continue the story, after DocuSign, I moved to PandaDoc. PandaDoc is fucking amazing, but it's expensive if you want to do like a really cool proposal. I spent $1,000 last year on PandaDoc, which people say shit is expensive. That's actually not expensive if you're making money from it, but still though, like $1,000 for like a DocuSign equivalent mixed with Google Docs could be seen as expensive. My point is, I just didn't want to spend that on a platform that I was only going to use mainly for proposals, because the problem that we have in our industry is we're so capable that we could create things, you know, with custom post types and forms and integrations and stuff, that we don't need to go outside. I'm not saying this is the right way either. Big disclaimer. We don't need to go get extra SaaS shit a lot of times. We kind of just do that because like it's what the general norm is. But if you are the type of person that would rather try to build something custom, like my portal, you know, WPClientPortal.co series, right? this is something that I feel like you could really utilize. So all I did was I created like a custom post type for proposals, and I'll run you through kind of like the little. This again is a sneak peek. It's not done. I did it for the last like 3 days or whatever, but I'm pretty happy with where it's going, and you could easily adapt this for whatever, whether you're building websites, selling SEO packages, selling sponsorships, whatever. Um, there's some interesting pieces to this, and it's going to be free or low cost because you're building it yourself, right? And you're building it specifically to what you want. So, David Doss says, Panadoc is overpriced for what it is, to be honest. I think I like kind of agree with that. But like I said, I had like the enterprise plan, and you can't do shit that like the enterprise. I didn't need the enterprise plan for only for certain like little bits of it, which I really enjoyed a lot of it. But I also wasn't using. I think the one reason it's overpriced is because like if you don't utilize all the features, then it obviously gets overpriced. Like I wasn't. It's really cool that you could like bill somebody directly through that, but now all my shit is over in Panadoc, and I don't want that. So that's a story for a different time. But let me try to run you through real quick like what we're kind of doing here. Okay, so we have proposals, right? So I'm not. This is not a full tutorial. I'm just going to try to tell you guys this as fast as possible because I do have to go. Um, but we have like proposals. So I'm using Jet Engine. You guys are probably maybe you're using ACF, but the concepts are all the same. Okay. So we have proposals, and your fields are obviously going to be a little different because you might be building websites rather than like more tuned in my case here for like partnerships and sponsorships and things like that. But the status, so like I have a status field, and I'll show you all this on the front end, obviously when we're adding stuff. But I have a status field that's just like a radio. So approved, pending, and declined. By default, it's pending when you create a new one. I have sponsorship objectives, or in your case, it could be like project objectives or whatever. I have my signer first name, last name, and email address, those are all just text fields. Jet Engine doesn't have, I don't think it has like an email field. It doesn't have a URL field. You just use text. And then packages. Now, this one is really interesting because this is, again, related to sponsorships. But if you're trying to do this for website care plans, this is one of those things that I wanted to do in Panadoc and was really, really nice in a way if you have that enterprise plan. But if you don't have that enterprise plan, you can't even fucking do it. Like think of it as like a dynamic selector. Like you could show them 3 packages somewhere in that thing, and they could click one, and then they could like you would know, and then you could move them through the rest of the signing, and then at the end you would know, like you could even charge them through Panadoc. But if you're doing this all on your site, you could do whatever you want. So for instance, like the name, the price, and the details. And this packages field is a repeater. So it's a repeater field, and then the subfields are name, price, and details. Okay. So you could have like 2 packages, 3 packages, 4 packages, whatever the hell you want. I didn't want to limit myself. I just wanted to kind of give that. So that's a super high level on the proposals. If you come in and you add a new proposal, we can say, who am I going to do business with? I'm going to do business with XYZ company. Actually, let's do a real one because there's something else that was in there. I didn't tell you about the relationship. My website, I gotta show you. There's so much value that I have to share here. That I don't know how to put it into a small video. I'm very bad at making small videos, but everything on this website, and it's not the same use case as maybe you guys, but like everything is like related, like the tools to the videos, to the proposals, to everything. So, and then if there's orders, like in the people, like everything is related. Like the relationship piece of the CMS is like so incredibly valuable to me. So let's say, just for instance, I'm doing, let's use Kevin's, let's say automatic CSS. Okay. So I already have a tool called automatic CSS on this website, like a tool, custom post type, and then that on there. Okay, so let's go back over to the proposal. And let's just say ACSS, right? We all know it, right? So let's say I'm gonna propose them some shit or whatever, like whatever, and then and again, just put your own frame into this. Put like a website, like you're building a website or something like that. And then here I say, I don't know, I should probably grab some lorem or something like that for this because like it's gonna look like shit on the front end, but I'm just gonna do it like this. Hopefully you guys don't mind. So there's some objectives, okay? And then there's the signer first name, right? Which is like KG. Well, actually, I guess we'll just do this. Kevin, if I could spell, if I could type there, cool. And then Kevin at kevin.com. I don't know, right? I don't know, okay? Hopefully Kevin doesn't mind. Okay, so then down here we have, packages. So we have like bronze, Jesus Christ. Silver. Nope, never mind. The price is like, I don't know, fucking, I don't know, $500. I don't know, something like that. And then there's some more stuff down here, right? I'm giving you guys a bad example of all this sort of stuff. It's not going to look good on the front end. We'll say silver. Damn, cannot type. And then $1,000 and some other stuff down here. And maybe I should just grab, let me just hang on a second. Lorem ipsum, great. Give me that. That's great, whatever. Cool. Great. Put that in there. Put that in there. Whatever. And then gold. And then this is 1500, whatever. And then down here, more, nope. Copy that, put it there. Cool. All right, great. So we got 3 packages, whatever, and then connect a tool. So this is what I'm talking about, these relationships, right? So you'll see how this kind of relates some things, right? So connect that tool, come up here, press publish. Now, tools, again, could be like clients or something like that too. Like it, could be whatever you want. So we're adding this proposal. It's taking a while for some reason. Come on. Cool. And then now what does the proposal look like? So the idea would be like this is your client, right? So you made this proposal in your website or in your client portal. I'm actually going to probably put this in the client portal series because why not? Because this is probably where it would live if you were doing it separate. I'm just doing it all in one thing because I have some other ideas. But so you have something like this, right? And then you go over to that actual proposal and you could just send them this link, so to speak, right? And then all this is right here is this is a proposal single template. Right off the bat, okay? Right off the bat, how did this logo get in here? Right? Well, that logo got in there because I just connected the tool and what I have here is a block and it's querying based off of the relationship and it's pulling in just an image that is that logo. Okay? This is the type of stuff that's like so small and minute but really has like a huge impact when you're actually trying to do a lot of this stuff. Okay? So so you just have something like, and again, I'm not a designer, okay? I did this in like less than a day, okay? And I'm ass at designing, okay? So you can criticize me all you want for that, totally fine with that. But my point is like, if you wanted to create an experience that is kind of like a room or kind of like a PandaDoc situation, you didn't want to pay for that, you wanted to put it on your own website and you have these skills, you could do it like this. There's pros and cons to everything. So again, be careful there. But then like you just, I actually don't know. Give me a second here. What is, hang on a quick second. I gotta check what this is. Yeah, this is kind of ass, but it's fine. Okay, so then you have something like this, right? So you have your sponsorship proposal, right? And then you come down, you say view proposal. I just did that little JS thing to make that work because I hate it when you put the little anchor tags and then it shows up in the URL. So I just JS'd it. But then so you have key points from our synergy session or whatever, and you have like, again, I put that shit in there, but this is that one part, that's sponsorship objectives. Okay. You have sponsorship opportunities. So you have those 3 things. This is all dynamic, guys. Like you just, I'm not telling you concepts that you don't know probably from Dynamic Land, but I'm trying to give you an example of like how you could put it into something that's not just content, but more like actually usable. Right. So, kind of that. This section's ass, not done yet, and these are just some like persona type stuff, so you guys can see the analytics. There's a lot of USA people that watch this stuff. Some testimonials is always good. Got to fix that up. But down here is kind of where some of the magic really happens, and some of the things you're gonna actually really be interested in. This is a WS form down here. Okay. This is WS Form, and these packages are dynamically brought in. And I asked Mark Westgard, this is not a native feature. I had to do this with a hook. And how did I write that code? Claude. Okay. So I could show you that too. And if you want that snippet, I can get you that. But what this is doing is this is taking repeater jet engine data, okay, from that repeater field, and it is dynamically pulling it in. So you're looking at this form and you're like, Mark, how does this form work? Well, every single proposal that I send out is going to be dynamically generated with that stuff. A lot of this stuff is like, kind of automatically pulled in, so to speak, from, what's it called? From just from WS form stuff. Like you could pull in like the first name and last name from this post and all that sort of stuff in there. Okay. So you have all of that. And then all of that I actually made these fields like, I think they're like, I don't know if there's two, I don't know if they're disabled or there's another thing in there, or read only. I think these are read only. So it kind of looks like a form. It is a form, but they don't click any of that stuff because I already have that information. And then they just draw their signature in here, which this could, I kind of have some other ideas to make this a little better, but like they just draw their signature in here, data auto populates, and they press approve this proposal. What I'm going to do just to make sure that I don't like, I have this set up, but I don't like have it fully set up. With the options for everything, I'm going to, I just want to take Kevin's email out of here just because I don't think I'm sending emails right now to the person, but I'm just gonna change that just to be sure, because I'll send one of these for you guys. So like the concept would be your proposal might look a lot better above this fold, okay? But you would send that to a client. You just send the link. You send them to the client. And I mean, you could do a lot of tracking on the back end or whatever the hell you want to do there. And then down here, you would be like, okay, they decide what they want if there's packages or things to decide. So they say they want silver. They sign their name in here. They press approve this proposal. They, you can change whatever you want here. You can get a message. You could send them to a thank you page, what have you. Then I thought of a problem. I'm like, well, now, like, what if they reload this page? Like, I got an email there, right? In the back end, there was that status, right? So it was pending, declined, approved. That has switched to approved now. Okay. I'll prove that to you. Okay. Approved, right? And then down here, we're like, oh, wait a second, Mark. If you go back to this, no, it's going to say this proposal has been approved. And that's dynamic there as well, that piece. And that's just a condition down there to say like, hey, show this section of this, show this form section, this form element when when the post in question, the current post is pending, right? And if we create another post right now, if we create another proposal right now, it would be fresh. Like it would have all that new data. It would have all that new form stuff. There's probably some bugs in here, but I haven't found any yet. So I hope that made sense. Next chapter is self-hosting DocuSign, so you have your own free DocuSign PandaDoc. I'm leaving that to you, Brendan. You got to show me that video. You make it, maybe I'll try it. That's how you get you with those pricing models. You're getting one feature, you need 10, then you don't have to pay for them all. Yeah. You can also use flexible content. I don't know what that is, Max. You're gonna have to educate me on that. But yeah, so something like that was my initial run at this. Yeah, and there's like dynamic data like kind of throughout here or whatever. I don't know. I just love dynamic data shit. You might sometimes need to make shorter or out of order proposals. Yeah, for sure. I don't know what we're talking about by flexible. Do we mean by flexible content? Do we mean like taking stuff out? I mean, because I could easily make like if this is a section, I could easily say like don't show that if there's nothing in there. I didn't do any of that, but the reason I did it, the reason I had this idea, okay, so the reason I had this idea was because I needed something. I was like, I'm really not trying to just go dive into PandaDoc right now, and I want to make it like kind of cool and slick, and there's a lot of other things that I want to do because for better or worse, I love the concept of having like everything kind of on the website. Like again, I go back to that client portal thing. I know it was in web design world, but in this case, it's like if I propose people through the website, if I can get them to sign off on the proposal through that same thing, and then if I can get them to sign some other sort of something like an MSA or something through there, then if I can bill them through the website, which currently now like through a SureCart, like with a SureCart invoice, then I could get them, if I can get them to like either sign up or not even sign up, like their email would already be like tagged with all those things. Then now I've created a situation where I created my whole thing like that. That is literally a client portal. Now I know there's WP Client Portal, or clientportal.io, I think, which is like you can buy that off the shelf. But I like this shit. I like the dynamic data piece of it. It's more to manage, but it's also more customization. Yeah, I don't know. That client portal series was just like really enjoyable when I built it initially, and yeah, I don't know. I like dynamic data and stuff like this. So. Flexible content is an ACF field type. Check it out. Have not played with that. Interesting. It's like a repeater, but conditionally binds design blocks to ACF parts. Interesting. Well, we were in jet engine land here, so that's why I didn't know about that, but that is cool to know. Hopefully that was either educational or thought provoking or neither. But yeah, that is my thought process for the proposal system there. There's more. I'm sure there's more that I could add there, but for me, it's in a minimum viable product stage, and I'm pretty reasonably happy with it at this point. But I will test it out live, I guess, and let you know. Um, if there's more that you guys would like to see, then let me know there as well. Um, but yeah, I probably have to jump off here because I have to go get ready for this WP Town Hall episode, which you guys should be uh, tuned into if you'd like. We're trying different time areas and stuff like that, time slots and stuff. So at 20 minutes, 1 p.m. Eastern is when we're starting. Topic is the resolution is the barrier to entry of web design is too low. So agree, disagree with that. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And we're gonna try. It's definitely gonna be on X in that this link that I'm sending out right here. But if you don't want to go to X, don't want to watch that, we're gonna try to do it on YouTube as well. So stay tuned to this channel and Kevin's channel, and hopefully we can see some. Hopefully you can see some cool stuff. We'll see if it works because we haven't tried it yet. What does the client get when they submit the form? I guess in an ideal world, they would get maybe a PDF of the page at least, or at least just a confirmation of what they got there. I don't know. It would depend. Again, it's probably going to depend from customer to customer. Like what from situation to situation, like what your customer would definitely need. If they need like an actual printout of the thing or like like a document, then I don't know. I have to explore that PDF add-on. But yeah, can they save the whole proposal as a PDF? Yeah, I mean, there's probably definitely absolutely a way to probably like save like a quick, easy way to save that as a PDF. But then if you could definitely attach that as well, I'm gonna have to look into that. I didn't get there yet. So my thought process, maybe this is too this is probably too probably wishful thinking is that you could create a situation if you actually leaned into something like this with whatever business or service you're providing where like they are coming back to your website or they know where to get the information. Maybe they don't, like maybe they wouldn't come back. But again, the client portal concept is if you had like 100 clients on that thing, it's like if you set the expectations like this is where we do all of our stuff, like even you go support ticket and all that sort of stuff like in there, like a one-stop shop, like almost like an Amazon type deal, but not at that scale, then hopefully you could get them to actually come back to that. And like if they don't have something, they don't email you initially, they would like go to, I'm not going to email Amazon when I don't know what order I had. I don't know. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Maybe that's not possible, but just a thought there. So we'll see. But yeah, I got to go, guys. Appreciate you so much. It's been fantastic. Thank you for all the thoughts, perspectives, and questions, comments, all that sort of stuff. I will be back here Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, next Thursday, every single Thursday. But in the meantime, here, we're going to try to get this WP Town Hall streamed on here. If not, it'll be on X.